Welcome back, Ultima Weapons. It's the Night Sky Prince again. Final Fantasy VI is commonly regarded as one of the greatest games ever created. Its rich storytelling, which incorporates multiple perspectives, excellent active time battle system, and some of the best graphics that the Super Nintendo was capable of. It's no wonder that people keep coming back to this 1994 classic, even till this day. Because this game is so awe-inspiring, of course it's made people want to come back to it again and again. A version of this game was released for Steam, iOS, and Android. The only problem is that the version they released is kind of ugly. It just looks sort of muddy to me, and it didn't have the same graphical impact as the original. While the remastering attempt that Square made is greatly appreciated, it didn't do nearly as much as it could have to make this game as stellar as it could have been. This is where the incredible Final Fantasy modding community steps in and shines once more. A team whose members go by Bathory, Rogel, KVG, Maki, and Nixo have compiled several impressive mods into easy to install packages that completely revolutionize the current state of Final Fantasy VI on PC. Introducing Final Fantasy VI A World Reborn, not to be confused with A Realm Reborn. A World Reborn comes in 3 different varieties of modding packages. The core package is what I recommend most. It reworks many of the sprites to be similar to the Yoshitaka Amano artwork. The Super Nintendo Nostalgia package is what many of you will love. As you can imagine, it focuses on being similar to the Super Nintendo version stylistically as much as it can. And then there's the hybrid version, which attempts to be the best of both worlds. But suppose you want something that's in between. You like one tweak from one package but not another. Then you are in luck. If you don't want to do any of the individual packages, you can also do a manual installation, which allows you to pick and choose which mods that you want. Personally, I chose the core package, as I love the Yoshitaka Amano interpreted sprites. Seeing characters like Terra and Locke in Dissidia has got me very much accustomed to them looking like that. But what more do these mods really do? Oh boy. Aside from the sprites, which have been reworked to lose much of the muddiness of the original port sprites, battle backgrounds have been significantly enhanced from their previous iterations. They've improved many of the battle backgrounds, adding better lighting, contrast, and more saturation in all the backgrounds. The result is backgrounds that look beautifully vibrant and let the artist's original intention shine through better than ever before. Monsters and espers in particular have been reworked to look closer to their Yoshitaka Amano inspired source material, bringing you closer than ever before to playing one of his paintings. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, complaint regarding Final Fantasy VI's updated version is the battle UI. Sometimes the battle UI is outright confusing or an absolute chore to navigate. While this UI works okay-ish for a mobile platform with a touchscreen, on the Steam version with a keyboard or a controller, it's just absolutely horrendous. However, thanks to this mod, the battle UI sees some improvement as well, making it much less cluttered than it was before. This modding team has reworked the UI, removing most of the redundancy from the port's mobile interface, such as the touch icons in the corner of the battle screen and the tap icons for save and splitzes. There is absolutely no point of having these as touch buttons on the screen, not when you have a keyboard or a controller with physical buttons. It is the absolute definition of redundancy to have those rendered on screen, especially when you have physical buttons on a keyboard or a controller. But thanks to this modding team, it's finally been removed. They even went as far as to extend their UI changes in the Bestiary and Events album to reflect the overall changes made within these packages for a seamless user experience. The core and hybrid mix packages use a modified version of the GBA release's font, while the Nostalgia pack uses the Super Nintendo font, making the fonts look more appealing than they ever did on the original game's release. There's also a reshade profile, which has been configured for both the core and Nostalgia package releases, both of which add the option for CRT scan lines, a toggle key to switch aspect ratios from 4:3 to 16:9, as well as color enhancements to suit the theme of each package. Altogether, this option gives you the ability to play the game with a very classic 4:3 ratio with CRT scan lines, and make you feel like you're reliving the glory days of the 90s, even on your 4K television or monitor. By far though, my absolute favorite feature here is one that's a bit controversial. While there are many purists who wouldn't dare touch a single sound of Final Fantasy VI's OST, there's an option to have a fully orchestrated version of Final Fantasy VI's music. And believe me, when I say the fully orchestrated version of this soundtrack is absolutely amazing, it is brilliantly done. It pulls me into the moment more than ever before, but the best thing is for you to be able to hear it for yourself. I know many of you would never touch anything about the SNES or GBA versions of Final Fantasy VI, and that's absolutely fine. There still isn't a mod to add in the original sprites, so that might be the optimal option for many of you. However, those of you who don't mind getting a brand new way to experience this classic with some much needed updates that help the game look and play better than ever before, as well as have access to the new features in this port, then this mod can tremendously improve your experience, especially if you've already been playing the game on Steam and want to make it that much better of an experience. So Ultima Weapons, will you be modding Final Fantasy VI for Steam, or do you plan to keep booting up your Super Nintendo version over and over again? No shame here, either way. Subscribe, click the bell icon, and let your voice be heard in the comments below. And if you really love Final Fantasy VI, I mean really love Final Fantasy VI, be sure to become a patron on Patreon for the Night Sky Prince. It really helps me make these modding videos so you can play the best versions of your favorite Final Fantasy games, just like today's awesome supporter, Gliding Falcon. Link in the description below.